At this time, I'd like to call the special committee of the whole meeting to order. Let the record reflect, it is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020, and the clock says 6:05 p.m. Good evening, everyone. I thank you in advance for your patience and cooperation throughout tonight's special committee of the whole meeting, which is convening remotely GoToMeeting. This open meeting of the Village of Tinley Park is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Pritzker's Executive Order 2020-07, issued on March 16, 2020, which suspends the Open Meetings Act provisions relating to in-person attendance by members of the public body. Specifically, the Governor's Order 1 suspends the requirement in Section 2.01 that members of a public body must be physically present, and 2 suspends the limitations in Section 7 on when remote participation is allowed. On April 30th, 2020, Executive Order 2020-33 reissued Executive Order 2020-07. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus and reduce risk of the COVID-19 illness, Executive Order 2020-07 furthermore encourages public bodies to postpone public business when possible. Therefore, tonight's agenda has been kept to a minimum. You sure? Larger than normal. The Open Meetings Act requires public bodies to allow for public comment. This meeting will feature public comment. Details regarding temporary public participation rules and procedures can be found on the village website. Even if members of the public do not provide comment, participants are advised that people may be listening who do not provide comment, and those persons are not required to identify themselves. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by web audio conference. All the materials for the meeting are available on the village website, and we recommend the members and the public follow the agenda as it's posted. After members have spoken, I will forward public comment as follows. The public was provided the opportunity to submit comments until noon today by emailing their public comments on clerk's office at tinleypark.org or by placing their written comment in the drop box of the village hall. The public was also provided the opportunity to submit a request until noon today to the clerk's office at tinleypark.org or by placing their written request in the drop box at village hall to participate publicly via a live telephone call at the relevant portion of the public meeting. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Brennan.
Present.
Trustee Galante. Trustee Galante.
Here.
Trustee Glatz.
Present.
Trustee Mueller.
Here.
President Vandenberg.
Here.
Consider adopting temporary public participation rules and procedures for this agenda. I motion to adopt temporary public participation rules and procedures for the agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Here.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 2, consider approval of the minutes of the special committee of the whole meetings held on May 5th, 2020 and May 6th, 2020. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting or committee of the whole meeting held on May 5th, 2020 and May 6th, 2020.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk, you please call the roll?
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 3. Discuss resolution seeking consideration of a localized or EMS region approach to reopen businesses and resume civic activity. Dave, are you gonna take that one, or are you gonna have Pat since you're, Pat, you're gonna, okay.
That's gonna do it.
Thank you, Trustee Glatz. As you're aware, Governor Pritzker has released a 5-phase plan for reopening the state, known as the Restore Illinois Plan. This plan divides the state into 4 regions, which must meet certain metrics in order to move on to the next phase of the plan towards reopening. While it is commendable, the governor has provided guidelines through this resolution. The village is requesting the governor to reconsider dividing the state into EMS regions, which there are 11, and we are on Region 7, which separates the village from Chicago. So we can take a more local approach to address the needs of our residents and businesses such as bars, restaurants, salons, childcare centers, fitness centers, and entertainment facilities that otherwise won't be able to open until later phases of the plan.
Is that it?
Yep.
Trustee Berg, do you have anything you want to add?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Brady?
No, sir.
Trustee Brennan?
Nothing to add. I would, I agree with everything that we have in this,
Hey, Hannah.
resolution. I think that, this is an appropriate, request from the village, and I think this is, something I appreciate the attorneys and everyone putting together. I think this is a logical approach to what we're gonna be doing. So, I mean, our businesses are struggling, people are out of work, and, really appreciate you guys putting this together, so, thank you.
Trustee Galante?
I think that there is a lot of reasons we should open, of course, trying to get people back to work. I just think that there's things in place that should stop us from doing that with the insurance concerns and the financial assistance concerns, the impact it would have on this village. So I don't think that is something we can do without staying within the governor's orders.
Yeah, I just want to add, are you done, Diane?
Yes, I am.
I just want to add I appreciate the governor looking out for our safety and keeping the stay at home to flatten the curve. One of the things that I feel strongly about is I think we should change the regions like the IML highly recommended to increase the regions so everyone's not pooled as one basically, and go from the 28 to the 14 days. Trustee Mueller?
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment. I think really the heart of what we're asking for here is the governor to look at these great geographic areas a little separately. We've got nowhere near the density of something like Chicago, but we're kind of being lumped in with them. And they have quite a bit different concerns when you have that much density in a location. So yeah, I completely agree with this approach in terms of breaking down the state into smaller regions so that we can do the right things for ourselves locally. So I think it stays with the spirit of the governor's kind of overall plan, but at least allows us some local autonomy within his plan.
Thanks, Mike. Clerk Therian?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Mayor Vandenberg?
can you please confirm, what other communities have, I know that a lot of Will County communities have sent a letter asking for the zoning to be changed. I don't know if it was specific to this request regarding the EMS districts, but what other communities that are signing on to this? I don't see it in the packet here, so
Yeah,
thank you. Can you clarify that for me?
it's a lot of the western suburbs in DuPage County are the ones that were leading this effort for the EMS regions.
So will you be the only one in our area that's making this kind of request?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this I'm not sure if this is the same as what Orland is requesting or not. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
So,
either.
if I can, wouldn't it be a wiser decision to collaborate amongst the communities surrounding us to come up with a regional plan as opposed to an individual plan? I know that this is considered a regional plan based on the different EMS regions. However, we're the only one in our South Suburban area that's doing it, except for the western suburbs. I think it's kind of, we're working against ourselves here.
Yeah, I know Orland Park is collaborating with, I believe, New Lenox and Mokina, those two suburbs. So I know the mayors of those suburbs have got together to discuss this.
Mayor Vandenberg, State Newmeyer. So there's a number of communities in the west and the northern and northwestern that have adopted this. And this really, all this is doing is saying, we understand the need for the plan. We're happy that he developed the plan. We're concerned about the regions and how it affects us. And we're concerned that in phases 4 and 5, or phase 3, 4, and 5, a lot of our key businesses are not allowed to open into those later phases. So there's a lot of communities doing it. I mean, Orland Park did something that was a little bit different, but I think it's important that we kind of speak with our voice and kind of show our businesses that we're supporting them.
Right. I mean, I'm not arguing that at all. In fact, I think it's quite opposite. This is a fairly specific idea. I mean, we're basically saying that Governor, please reevaluate how you district the zones. Oh, and by the way, maybe you should try to do it the EMS route. When I think we could kind of just simplify it by saying, please consider rezoning Tinley Park. Period. And I mean, unless there's other communities that are surrounding us that are part of the same region, when it comes to EMS, I don't know why we're not just kind of following the approach that they've already taken. But whatever. I mean, I think it's a good idea no matter what. Definitely getting something in front of the governor is a good idea. So I'll allow the professionals to make that decision.
I'll make a motion to move the resolution seeking consideration of localized or EMS region approach to reopen business and resume civic duty to the village board for approval.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Bill. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Trustee Berg.
Yeah.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante. Trustee Galante. Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Motion carries. Item number 4, discuss ideas on assisting Tinley Park business post-COVID-19. Priscilla, can you take that one, please?
Definitely. Thank you, Trustee Glatz. I'll try to make this brief, but I do want to emphasize some of the things we've done and what we plan to continue to do. So this came as a result of the village receiving feedback from business owners in the community regarding what we're doing to help businesses during this crisis. Other communities have developed reopening plans, and village staff met recently to discuss the possibility of developing a plan as well. However, under the advice of our insurance company, any reopening plans that may conflict with the governor's executive order can put the village at risk of jeopardizing said coverage. Further, it is important to note that whatever we do, we are legally required to comply with the governor's executive order. Our businesses licensed through this state could also be at risk if they go against any orders from the governor. Our overriding goal is to help businesses survive and open in a safe manner once the governor allows them to. That being said, we are proceeding with finding creative ways to help businesses in the community. Just wanted to highlight a few of the things that we've done so far to help. As you all know, we've hosted a Navigating COVID-19 Funding Options webinar. We had 46 participants. We've responded to phone calls from the business community same day or within 24 hours at the latest. We've been proactive in reaching out via phone to local businesses, including our dealerships, restaurants, manufacturers, among others. We have revamped the Oak Park Avenue Playbook Grant Program. Marketing has done a fantastic job and created a COVID-19 business resources webpage to provide relevant information to our business community. And we've partnered with small business development centers throughout the state, the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce, and other resource providers who can assist our businesses. We continue to send a weekly or biweekly newsletter to business owners with relevant information on funding, marketing operations. We've had open rates of upwards of 40%, a strong number in the industry, which shows that our business owners are engaging and reading the content that we're providing. And we continue to reach out and respond to business owners on a one-on-one basis regarding the Paycheck Protection Program, other funding opportunities, and general COVID-19 questions. This is what we're looking at currently for creative solutions to help specifically our restaurants, coffee shops, and bars in town. With marketing, we're working on a virtual restaurant week, a campaign designed to encourage our residents to support local restaurants and bars. We're looking at launching this the first or second week in June. Our participating businesses will offer specials that week, which we'll promote via our website, newsletter, social media, and looking at other ideas as to how to best execute on that. We're also looking at possible closure of streets to allow for outdoor dining pending the governor's decision on this. Several other municipalities are waiting for direction on plans they've submitted to the governor. So we're looking at those plans as well, but we don't want to spin our wheels. We're waiting for the governor to decide on that. We're developing a series of webinars with industry focuses for businesses to share best practices. Our first one hopefully will happen in the next 2 weeks or so, specifically for our restaurants and bars. So sharing best practices in light of COVID-19. We're also considering one for spas, salons, and barbershops once they reopen, manufacturing businesses, and child care providers, among others. Last, just want to quickly share some information. We sent out a survey to all our food and beverage businesses late last week, again with marketing. We sent the survey to 114 businesses. So far, we've received 19 responses, so a 17% response rate, which isn't bad. We received good feedback from our businesses and are seriously looking through it all to see what solutions we can offer. Some of the responses were nearly 80% of our businesses said they would be currently able to offer outdoor dining. Over 70% would be likely to offer outdoor seating if it were made available on a nearby closed street or parking lot. And over 75% would be likely to participate in virtual restaurant week. So we'll continue to review this data from the survey and continue to seek feedback from all our businesses to help them through this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Thanks, Priscilla.
Any questions from the board? Nope.
I had a question, Trustee Glass.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Priscilla, did we ask at all about, I didn't see it on the survey, but did we ask about disposable menus at all? I know a lot of communities are kind of forcing that hand to keep the touch points between customers down.
Sure, we didn't ask about that on the survey, but one of the things that we plan to develop in the webinar is to have restaurants and bars share best practices. So have 1 or 2 business owners on the panel who are doing things well, and possibly someone from the National Restaurant Association or Illinois Restaurant Association that would share those types of best practices. We did ask about PPE equipment. So would they have sufficient PPE supplies and sanitizing supplies and all of that to be able to operate safely? most said yes. There were some concerns on whether that supply would continue down the road, but most said that they would currently have sufficient PPE and sanitizing supplies.
Perfect. And then on the outdoor spaces, I think it's just important that we make sure that they're truly outdoor and they're not, a tent with four walls.
Yeah.
To really take advantage of the fact that you're outside and there's open air. So I think that's going to be an important part of the plan that we come up with.
For sure, that, we did look at another municipality's plan, and the municipality, and we were on the same page, Paula Walrick and I had that conversation, that tents could potentially be allowed, but definitely would not be allowed to be enclosed, because that defeats the whole purpose of the open air ventilation kind of system.
Anything else, Mike?
No, sorry, I was unmuted and muted myself there. Yeah, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Could I add? I was talking to a sister of mine that lives down in Houston, and they had a very limited closed restaurants. And she went to one Sunday that they opened up, and they had the staff all with masks on. They did have the disposable menus, but they also offered people silverware that they said had been washed twice, and/or plasticware. They had their choice to use either one. And it was a high-end restaurant that was doing that. So that's just another idea. That's something we could propose.
Yeah. Something that Paula Walrick shared with me was the National Restaurant Association's guide in a post-COVID environment, and best practices for sanitation, safety, all of that. And we can certainly link to that on our website. We'll share some of that in the webinar for sure. Thank you for that feedback. We're looking at all of that. Yep.
Thanks, Bill. Anything else? Item 5, receive update on village special events summer schedule. Donna, you want to take that?
Thank you very much. So needless to say, this quarantine has decimated what was promising to be one of our best summer concert schedules ever. So we, obviously with the governor's plan, we are monitoring very closely what happens with that. And we know that we need to wait till phase 4 before we can allow 50 people at events. So what we've been doing is looking for options and opportunities to either reinvent the events that we have or to modify them. So as I've mentioned to you now a couple times, we've got our virtual Memorial Day event. We've got the In-N-Out Farmers Market concept. We're working with the VFW on cruise parades on Tuesday evenings starting in June. That's what we're looking at, where we're going to break the community into quadrants and parade our car people around. So where we stand right now as far as the balance of our summer events, we have canceled our June concerts. We're right up against when it's time to make decisions on the 2 July concerts and the block party, which is, of course, a biggie. Obviously, what we're doing is we're monitoring very closely what our friends and neighbors are doing, with neighboring communities, what the music theater, we're in contact with them, what our park district and other park districts are doing. So basically what I'm looking for is agreement that we would kind of take this on a month-by-month basis, where by the end of the month, we would be looking forward 45 to 60 days and be making a final decision at that time. So that kind of allows us that way to, still remain hopeful, but obviously practical as well. So that takes us to, for example, the end of May to make these decisions on the July concerts. And then in June, we'd be making decisions on August events, et cetera. We know there's going to be a new normal as we move forward with this, not unlike what the businesses are talking about with their disposable menus and plasticware and that type of thing. There will be social distancing that's going to need to be a part of this. There's going to be, high touch points and hand sanitizer will be a cleaning, obvious cleaning in front of people, that type of thing. So we're prepared to make those changes as we see fit, but obviously timing will be the key component there. So that's where I am at this point. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Donna, what's your, what's your thoughts on pushing the block party back to August? Just because just to see where the governor, I'm sure in the next week or so, he's gonna come out with his final plan, hopefully, whether It's
Right.
to continue to stay, closed or to start his phasing plan.
That is what we're, kind of why we wanted to leave this as a month-by-month basis, so that, we need, it would be a condensed schedule, but we think that we could still put our events together in a 45 to 60-day timeframe, considering all the work we've already done previously, just switching some dates and stuff. So that's what we would like to look at. August and September, actually in September, we start getting a little busy. We've got, right now, we have one of our concerts scheduled. We also have the Oktoberfest is scheduled in September. So that would really only leave the Labor Day weekend and one other weekend. So obviously, weather becomes an issue, obviously, on the other side of things. So short answer to your question is yes, we would like to look at that as an option. Kind of, again, keeping our finger on the pulse of what's going on, what other communities are doing, what seems safe, what the experts are telling us, and make that decision at the end of the month prior to, 45 to 60 days prior to when we could have it.
Thanks, Donna, that's good news. Anyone else have any questions for Donna Framke?
How are,
This is Diane. Tonight, today I noticed there was a couple of shows. There was one thing I thought was kind of cool was this whole drive-in idea where, not sure if like movies in the park type of thing, but they're doing it in a drive-in kind of setup, which I thought was really cool. And I did like the idea of, being able to shut down the streets and have some kind of event, like Mike said, that we could look forward to in August would be nice.
Definitely, and I will tell you that we've been in touch with a gentleman who's volunteered to assist us with some sound issues, so drive-ins are something that we've looked at. I've been engaging with a couple of our downtown businesses, for example, and one of the things that some of the restaurants are looking at is kind of like the old, for those of us who remember the old like A&W, the car hop type experience, where, collectively a group of restaurants could participate with us and we could look at showing movies in one or both of our train station lots and allow our restaurants to participate with us and kind of make an event out of it that would still allow for that kind of social distancing. So definitely, I think we're on the same page there, Diane. We're definitely looking at options to, still allow us to have a pretty robust event schedule. They just look a little different.
Great, that sounds great. Thank you.
I can wonder, how about that idea with people staying in their cars and driving for a concert, for a musical group to be standing there on a stage, and everybody be in the cars?
That is something that we're looking at. Actually, we've been in conversations, Pat, as well with the music theater. They're looking at options for potentially, the issue is they would want to make sure that we have to encourage people to stay in their cars. And
Right.
that would be the biggest challenge there. But it is something that's on the table for consideration as well.
How are the bands that we've had to cancel, how are they handling things? Or
Well,
are they
obviously,
working
that
with you?
industry in general, they're in a world of hurt, quite honestly. So they're quite open to any ideas. We've had a couple reach out to us, and we've been putting links on our social media, for example, for those who are just doing, not unlike what some of the big name bands are doing, or just, concerts in their living room, and, just live streaming that so people can still enjoy music. And obviously, with our brand, that's
Right.
hugely important to us, so we're looking for any of those opportunities whenever they're available. So yeah, we're looking at all those
Good,
options.
glad they're working with you. They got to understand, of course.
This was going to be our best schedule this summer, too.
Of course.
So disappointed, I can't even tell you we had the best lineup.
Not over yet.
So
Well,
hopefully next year.
Has there been any consideration to possibly combining the block party, maybe some music in the plaza, over to having multiple stages, possibly in the fall for Oktoberfest? And I know we did Rocktoberfest in the past, and doing
Yeah.
something similar to that, and maybe just doing Oktoberfest bigger this year than we have in the past, and reallocating some of those funds to that buys us more time. And
Sure.
I'm just spitballing here on that,
Sure,
but
for
it's
sure.
just
No, ideas are always great, gets us thinking about things. We're, the block party's pretty good as far as music, because we have 2 stages there.
Mhm.
So we do have, 4 pretty good concerts that are usually a draw there. I did hear this week that our chamber administrator, she's going to be leaving the chamber at the end of this month, as well as their membership coordinator. So I know that they're going to be probably trying to figure out what they're doing as far as scheduling Oktoberfest. So
Right.
we have to be ready to shift on the dime there as well.
Right.
But definitely is something that we could look at if we wanted to, maybe partner with them if Oktoberfest, presuming is going to move forward, to move some of those bands over there and enlarge it. And the good news is we have the space at the 80th Avenue Station. It's just a matter of making sure we can figure out the ways to allow social distancing and all that stuff to
Right.
happen. So,
You could have like 4 different areas, rock in one and the German music in the other, and so on and so forth, spread it all
we'll
around.
have our country fans in one corner.
Country fans, right,
Right.
right, polka fans, et cetera.
There you go. Definitely. And I will keep,
Comedy section.
there you go, that'd be awesome. I will definitely be back engaging with you at the end of every month, kind of letting you know what we're finding out, what we're proposing for new ideas, and take it from there.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
You bet. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 6, discuss redevelopment non-tax increment financing TIF grant program. Priscilla Cordero, could you please fill us in on that?
Sure. So this grant program was developed as a result of conversations around the many sites throughout Tinley that require significant redevelopment, but do not qualify for any of our existing programs. The idea is to encourage property owners to rehabilitate sites where the cost to rehabilitate exceed the value of the property or the funding ability of the owner. This program is specifically for sites that do not fall within the existing Oak Park Avenue grant program, a TIF district, Cook County special designated area, or meet other criteria to be eligible for traditional incentive agreements. The consensus among staff and the Economic and Commercial Commission was that unless the village provides some assistance, these properties would remain blighted. Through this grant, the village can encourage site and building improvements that will enhance the overall aesthetics of the area for residents, as well as improve the property value and resulting equalized assessed value, or EAV, of the parcel. The program follows some of the existing Oak Park Avenue grant program parameters, and I'll touch on the highlights of it. A site is eligible for between $10,000 and $30,000 in a 50-50 matching grant, reimbursable grant, I should mention, so the funds would have to be paid up, the project would have to be paid for fully upfront by the property owner or business owner, and then we would reimburse. Funds may be used for facade improvement, code compliance, stormwater management, parking lot improvements, or environmental remediation. Staff is recommending a total funding level of $90,000 for the year, and if the budget is approved, the funds will be available June 1st. The application period will run June 1st through July 1st. If funds are not exhausted, we will consider another round of applications. The approval process will follow the Oak Park Avenue Grant Program approval process with the Economic and Commercial Commission review and then Village Board for final approval. The Economic and Commercial Commission reviewed the proposed program at their May 11th, 2020 meeting and unanimously voted to recommend approval of the program. Are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
I'll just say, it's never easy to expend taxpayers' money, but I think one of the keys to the way that this program is set up is that these monies will go towards a permanent improvement to the infrastructure of Tinley Park, making these buildings more inhabitable, better looking, an improvement to the stormwater management, or environmental remediation. So it's something that a local business can't take away if they are to leave, but instead a permanent improvement to Tinley Park as a whole. Because of that, I think this is going to be a successful program, and I'm looking forward to it.
Priscilla, how many businesses have inquired about this that you, or how many have you spoken to about this 90,000?
We've talked to a few. Obviously, everything was in theory because it wasn't, nothing was approved. So we've just talked to a couple in town.
Okay. Have any filled out any applications for it?
No, not yet. we wanted to be fair to everyone, so the application, we have the application, I completed it today, but the application period will open June 1st, so that gives everyone time to review it and get their materials in.
Okay, how many do you think are gonna apply for this?
I have no idea. It's a short window, and we kept it that way because, you know, the total funding is 90,000. It's not a ton of money, especially if you know, the projects are between 10 and 30,000, but potentially 30,000 could go to 3 different businesses if they qualify, and those are all the applications we received. So we wanted to keep the window short so that we could actually approve some applications and move forward with that. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
No, the only reason I ask is, I was curious on how many you think are actually serious, or is it just a conversation? They just inquired, or it's, you know, I mean, you would probably.
Two that we've spoken with are serious. As far as they're looking to make improvements on existing properties. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that helps.
I'll just add that I appreciate that it's a reimbursable, I mean, it's permanent, it's a permanent fixture or structure in the building that's going to remain there. It is not going to be, it's going to, whether or not that particular business is there or not, it's going to be our beautification, essentially, of our town. And I appreciate that it's fully reimbursable after that this is actually completed. So, you know, and, you know, with it being, you know, only the 90,000, I think that's a good start. So I appreciate all your guys' hard work on it.
Can I answer the question?
Go ahead, Diane.
I just wanted to see, how do we get this communicated, you know, to all the businesses so they're aware that it's available?
Sure. So I've been working very closely with, I don't think Donna's here anymore, but Donna's one of my favorite people on staff. She and I talk almost daily in communicating with businesses, because the best, most efficient way to reach them is through a newsletter, email, social media, right? So we plan to get it out through all those outlets, put it on our website. And I mean, it is a short window, so if Trustee Galante, if I could call everyone and tell them about it, I would, but the best we can do, I believe, unless we have other feedback from the board, is to get it on our website, send it out in our newsletter that will go out this week if this is approved, and promote it through social media so that everyone is aware of it. Yeah.
And we do share information with the chamber, too?
Yes.
Items
Yes.
like this.
For sure.
Thank you. I think it's a great idea. I mean, obviously, our businesses need help. I just want to make sure we're being fair, you know, getting all the information out to all the businesses. Everybody's aware of all the different opportunities. But
Definitely.
Thank you very much for all the work on this.
And I agree with you. I want to be fair as well.
What are your thoughts, just because of today's, it is such a short window, what do you think about pushing it back to, say, June 15th or something, so we do have an opportunity to make sure that it's getting out to everyone, because it's literally 11 days from today.
Sure.
And tomorrow it'll be 10 days.
I mean, I'm open to whatever the board wants to do on that. That's your decision. I would suggest that maybe we do June 1st to, why not extend the deadline on the back end, so July 15th? Because we will wait, just to clarify, we will wait to make a decision on all of them until they're all received. So it's not technically a first come, first served basis. I don't have this piece in front of me, but if we receive too many applications, and so many that it exceeds our funding levels, there are criteria to rank those applications. So it will be fair where you know, we're not going to make a decision on any of these until all of those are received. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm open to whatever the board wants to do on that.
Well, no, I was just looking for your opinion, what you thought. I mean, like Diane just said, it is a short window. And I just don't want to throw something out there and then someone miss it. Who is, I didn't see in there, who is going to be the ultimate decision maker on who gets it?
The board, so same as the Oak Park grant program. The applications will be reviewed by staff first, will then go to the ECC for recommendation for approval, and then the board will decide.
So, but if you have 8 applications to divvy up the $90,000, how are we going to determine how that gets divvied up?
Sure.
If the cap is 30,
Sure.
but you have 8 people that apply for it, then will it get diluted?
So that's
Is it
something.
possible that all 8 of them could get it, and it could be about
Yeah,
11,000
that is-
per?
That is possible. I mean, that can be left up to the ECC and the board to decide. I don't know, I believe Paula is on the call. I don't know if anyone else wants to jump in here, but the staff have discussed this. And of course, this is the one thing I didn't print, but we have, in the memo, there was a list of criteria that determined which applications would get, for lack of a better word, better consider, not how we would rank those applications. Does anyone have the memo? But to answer your question, Trustee Glotz, it is possible that all 8 could get 11,000 or whatever
Okay.
apiece to cap out the 90.
Okay, I just want to make sure that some businesses wouldn't be left out. So,
Sure,
okay.
sure.
Any other comments from the board?
Well, there won't be any review of the applications until the period is closed, correct?
Exactly.
So then you'll go through your ranking process.
I do recall a few were level of employment, so how much proposed employment will result from the project being
Right.
completed, how blighted, for lack of a better word, how blighted that site is.
Right.
There's a list of items to be considered.
Okay.
All right, I'll make,
It's history of vacancy, lack of investment due to deterioration, presence of extraordinary redevelopment costs, proposed increase in employment, and the quality of development and overall aesthetics. So I think that priority list looks good to me. I think that'll be a good criteria to rank the different applicants that we receive.
thanks, Mike. All right, I'll make a motion to move it to the board. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glotz.
Yes,
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
motion carries. Item 7, discuss proposed amendment to Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 21A of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, Sunday golf course liquor sales. Kevin Gamolka, you gonna take that one?
Yes, Trustee Glotz, thank you.
Thank you.
So on September 8th, 2019, Mr. Nick Halikias sent the Liquor Commissioner a letter petitioning consideration to extend Sunday liquor sale hours for his golf course. The petitioner operates the Odyssey Golf Course located here in Tinley Park. Currently holds a Class A license for this establishment, and under this license, he is prohibited from selling alcoholic beverages between the hours of 2 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Sunday. Within the petitioner's letter, he stated that our current Sunday liquor sale hours put his golf course in a disadvantage because they are not able to sell alcoholic beverages to their golf customers on Sunday. Staff was asked by the liquor commissioner to research surrounding communities to see how they treat golf courses as it relates to liquor sales on Sunday. We found a few golf courses or a few municipalities that that take special consideration for golf courses within their liquor ordinances. A couple examples include Silver Lakes Country Club in Orland Park, which permit golf courses to begin selling liquor at 10 a.m., which is an hour earlier than other businesses in Orland Park. Ruffled Feathers Golf Course, which is located in Lamont, is permitted to sell liquor at 10 a.m., but it also allows the golf courses to petition the liquor commissioner for earlier hours. And Green Garden Country Club, located in Frankfurt, allows for alcohol sales after 6 a.m. any day of the week. So based on this research, the liquor commissioner recommended a time of 9 a.m. on Sunday for golf courses within the village of Tinley Park. I also want to note that today I received an email was forwarded to me from Mr. Nicholikius, requesting that the village board and liquor commissioner reconsider the recommendation of 9 a.m. And grant his initial request of 8 a.m. In the petitioner's email that I received today, he stated that the Odyssey is trying to maximize all possible revenue streams as the economic climate has severely impaired his industry. With all the current state regulations and everything that's in place due to COVID-19, once he is able to open, he's only able to accommodate up to 100 golfers right now. So that's really all I have on this. Are there any particular questions?
Thank you, Kevin. Trustee Byrd, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Trustee Brady?
No questions, but just a comment. I think that the idea is sound, considering that almost golf is somewhat seasonal, okay? Though I've seen gentlemen out there with orange balls in the snow, but for the majority it is. And of course, there's so many golf outings, there are fundraisers and that like that. I would see no problem with this.
Thank you, Bill. Trustee Galante?
I have no questions.
All right, Bill, I'm sorry, you said you have no problem with the 9 or the 8 that he requested?
8 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Glad I clarified that. I'm sorry, Diane, you said you had none?
No.
Trustee Mueller?
Yeah, I agree with Trustee Brady. I think having a beverage while you're out there golfing is very typical, and the fundraisers and the like are definitely another opportunity for them to recover some of the lost monies from not having enough people on the golf course. So I'd be fine with the 8 a.m. as well.
Thanks, Mike. Bill, did I skip you?
You did. It's all right.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Is that Woody Woodpecker? Thanks. How'd Woody get in here? Go ahead, Bill.
No, no comment from me. We're
So,
good.
Paul, how do we, you just need a motion from either trustee Brady or Mueller to change it to 8?
Yeah, then we'll bring it back to the board for ratification, right? So you want to give me direction to change the code,
Okay.
right, make it 8 o'clock, and then I'll work with Hannah, and then we'll bring it back at the next board meeting, right?
It's today, right?
So it is on tonight's agenda, so I don't know if there's a way to amend it as approved later
Yeah.
at all, Paul, or
Yeah,
we can
that's
just
fine.
bring it back.
So make the motion to amend it to 8 o'clock here, and refer to the board, and then we'll take the amended, we'll make it amended to 8 o'clock when we make the motion in.
So trustee Brady or trustee Mueller, you would have to, you want to make a motion
I'll make the motion
to amend it to 8?
to amend it to 8. But I know they mentioned
I'll
about,
second that motion.
I know that they mentioned about having Bloody Marys at 8 o'clock. I prefer mimosas, just matter of fact.
Clerk Darian, will you call the roll?
Trustee Burr.
Abstain.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 8, discuss 80th Avenue Train Station staircases, railings, concrete, landscaping, pavement, replacement, repair project. John, do you want to take that one?
Yes, sir, thank you. For those of you that are aware, after the construction of the train station, we had a lot of issues with the concrete and railings that were damaged due to frost heave and other reasons. The first 2 phases of repairs have been completed over the last couple of years, and I don't want to get into the details of the legal proceedings, but it was a recommendation to complete the remainder of the repairs to the ramps, the curb, the railing, other staircases more localized to the facility, as the outlying staircases have been repaired. And this final request is for the total of $803,413 to be contracted with our dock-order contracting procurement method with FH passing for that total. Requesting approval and move forward to board.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Let me say $15. Any questions from the board? I'll make a motion to move the JOC contract to the board.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 9, discuss post-4 lift station improvement contract. John Urbanski, take that one, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you again. This is in regards to a recent bid that we let out for Post 4, which is 8399 Brookside Glen. It's a sanitary lift station. We released the bid for improvements and replacement of control panel, the facility, updating outdated electrical components, and other apparatus in the area. The bids came in upwards of $200,000 more than what we originally budgeted and had the engineer's estimate. So due to the large offset of the original bid package and what we had budgeted, we're requesting for the rejection of the 2 bids. At this point, we are going to go back to the engineering firm and look for ways we can value engineer this. We will be looking to put this back out on the street with new specifications. And then for the board's understanding, we are discussing with legal the possibility of adjusting our bid packages to allow for value engineering without rejecting bids in the future. So we're asking for approval to reject the 2 bids right now and again, move that to board.
Any questions from the board? I'll make a motion to reject the 2 received bids.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 10, discuss landscape bed maintenance contract 2020. John, you want to take that one too?
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is year 2 of 3 of our annual contract for landscape bed maintenance. If you recall, last year we separated this from our overall landscape maintenance because of the necessity of the beds separate from just cutting grass. This requires a little bit more talent to keep the beds at a higher level of expectation. We did award the bid to Christie Weber Landscape last year. They met and/or exceeded our expectations, and we're requesting to extend the contract to year 2 of 3 of the contract for this year in the amount of $157,360.25.
All right, thanks, John. Any questions from the board? I'll make a motion to move it to the board.
I'll second it.
Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Discuss mowing contract 2020. John?
Yes, sir. Again, this is another contract that we put out last year for a possible 3-year renewal. Last year, it was awarded to Ridge Landscape Services. They met our needs. The contract was released with the possibility of annual increases. This one allows for a 3% increase. The anticipated number of mowings is 24 for this season. The cost of this contract is set at $189,324.96 and allows, if necessary, additional mowings. Request an approval and move to the board.
Thanks, John. Any questions from the board?
Just wondering, John, with this weather the way it is there a reduction of grass being cut?
So, if we continue to have another wet year like we had last year, it definitely would increase the number of mowings. The way this contract is written, it's kind of like a unit cost. So if we have to increase additional mowings, we have a per mowing price. But this is what we anticipate annually. What we're going to be requiring is the 24 times. With that being said, we reflected on last year's weather also. So hopefully we need to or go under the amount of rainfall. So we will possibly come in under that amount.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. I'll make a motion to move the mowing contract to the board.
I'll second that motion.
Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Item 12, lawn treatment contract 2020. John?
All right, this is our last lawn treatment contract, year 3 of 3. We are asking for the final renewal of this contract before we go out to bid next year. We've had True Green do the work for us in the past with acceptable terms. The current cost for this year's contract is $32,936. We are asking for approval and move to the board for this final year of this contract.
Thanks, John. Any questions? I'll make a motion to move lawn treatment contract, True Green, to the board.
I'll second that motion.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 13, discuss stormwater area maintenance contract 2020. John?
Yes, sir. This is, again, a lawn maintenance contract, but it is for our stormwater retention areas. This is another extension of a contract. We bid this out last year. The awarded bidder was Cardno. They have proven to be a reliable contractor with reasonable rates. This year's contract, we are requesting for $189,500. Requesting for this to be approved and moved to the board.
Thanks, John. Any questions for John? I'll make a motion to move the Cardinal contract to the board.
I'll second the motion.
Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 14, public comments. Were there any written public comments or requests to speak telephonically received?
No. Attorney O'Brady, no.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the special committee of the whole. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Bill. Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Brennan.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes, we
Trustee-
are adjourned at 7:05 PM.
I was a yes vote too, Kristen.
Thank you, Trustee Mueller.